Record.
Hey,
We are live. Or at least we should be.
hopefully we are.
There's always a delay when we do this, and it's frustrating. Always frustrating. But should get up eventually.
Yeah, I think we are. We are live.
Happy days.
So today we're all about weight loss because we've had a few questions. In fact, we've had quite a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
And we did answer them on a live feed on Facebook, but we thought we would do exactly the same here, as well as we've put together a bit of an education, a bit of a presentation, so that we can hopefully help everybody.
Education presentation.
There we
All
are.
the words that end in Asian.
And inspiration and motivation.
There we are.
So that hopefully we can give you guys a little bit of information on that you can act on, that you can move forward and actually achieve some goals in 2018.
So the two main questions we had put to us first of all, didn't we? Was it just two? I can't remember.
Well, there was a few, but there's two main ones. I think the rest are now rounded up into what we're going to do afterwards.
Yeah. So Gina was asking a very, very good question. She asked it on the back of the last one we did, didn't we?
Yeah. So Gina was asking why not eating enough calories or not eating enough in general is detrimental to your weight loss efforts. And that is a fantastic question.
It's fantastic because there's so many different angles for it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, which I'll come from the whole muscle perspective, muscle is greedy. Okay, so for the body to maintain a pound of fat every day without it doing anything, it costs, I think it's 5 calories just to maintain and do nothing. For a pound of muscle to sit there and do nothing in the body, it costs it 50 calories. Muscle is very, very greedy. So if you start seriously restricting calories, your body has to look at ways to reduce its calorie output. And one of the first things it does is sabotage muscle. It gets rid of stuff it doesn't need.
Because it's expensive. It's expensive in terms of calories in versus calories out. That basically leads on to the overall picture, which is your metabolism. Okay, so the more muscle mass you have, and now when I say muscle mass, I don't just mean big muscles in terms of the mass, but actually, if you think about the muscle becoming more dense, okay, so heavier, it's more active. Okay, so you've got thousands of muscle fibers, and then they're activated and deactivated due to your diet and your activity. When we're eating well, we're eating enough, and when you're doing some serious training, your body activates more muscle fibers, which is what we're talking about here. It becomes then expensive to maintain that muscle, which is exactly what we want for fat loss. But your overall metabolism will then reduce if you don't eat enough. Okay, it just starts to switch off these muscle fibers because they're expensive. So your whole metabolism just starts to shut down. So when you start looking at the basics of, if you want to lose weight, it's the calories you're taking in, or your body's absorbing, versus the calories you're expending. But all of a sudden, if you're expending a lot less because you've got less muscle tone, then that balance is completely off, and you'll find it very, very difficult to lose weight.
That's one of the biggest problems you get. You get these supplement companies, and they throw themselves out there like, oh, they generally have a business model. They're MLMs, multi-layer marketing, and generally they're like, yeah, you buy our products, lose your weight, and guess what? You can get a discount if you sell the products too. And then before you know it, and actually it's got nothing to do with weight loss, they're actually all about recruitment. But regardless, their business model always tends to be, or the products always be, 2 shakes a day and a main meal.
Yep.
Now the problem with that is a lot of these, some of them are okay, but there's one, I'm not going to name names, but there's one that's really, really bad that has you down at about 800 calories a day.
Ridiculous.
Now, can you imagine 800 calories a day? It's detrimental to everything.
Yeah. Well, let's be fair. We could come up with the Kilted Coaches weight loss products, and it could be 2 chocolate bars per day, 1 for breakfast and 1 for lunch, and then a main meal, and you would lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is, you lose weight in the short term. The long term, your metabolism completely drops down, and as soon as you go back to normal eating, you put it all back on again, and sometimes even more,
because you've lost the muscle mass.
Because you've lost the muscle mass,
Yep.
your metabolism is completely shot, and it's just not sustainable.
And something else to think about with these companies that have these such low calorie routines. Imagine you fell asleep, you're napping because you'd be lethargic anyway. Imagine you fell asleep and missed a meal.
Yeah.
Now each of these meals are 200 calories, whatever they are. Now all of a sudden, if you go below 600 calories, I think that's the magic number, you risk organ failure.
Yeah.
And these are just reckless companies out there just trying to make money, and they pretend they're saving the world.
And they work in terms of the business model.
Yeah, the business model works. Yeah, they recruit lots of people and they make lots of money.
Yeah, they're multi-billion-pound companies now, and it's just ridiculous. So it's funny because everybody knows, like, I've got a slightly faster metabolism than most people in terms of my friends, family, and everything else. And so they all say, "Oh, Stephen, you're really lucky you got fast metabolism." I'm like, you could say I'm lucky, or you could say that I eat well, I train hard, and I develop this fast metabolism. Okay, maybe I was born with it, a slightly fast metabolism, but then you develop it along the way. It's that very thing, that fast metabolism that everybody wants, but it's the very thing that most people give up when they go on these supplements. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, also as well, when it comes to losing weight, a fast metabolism is linked to movement. And if you just have to watch our streams, the last 30 seconds, Stephen's very animated. Now, all those tiny, tiny movements cost energy. Now, I'm not saying it's anything, but he's constantly on the move. He moves more than I do. That's why he's leaner than I am. So you've got to think about, for weight losses, you've got to constantly be on the move. And small gesture, I'm not asking you to start throwing hands around. It's just, he's so full of energy. That's what he does.
Full of energy.
Yeah, but it's just simply standing up more. It's somebody that has got reduced their metabolism. They'll sit down a lot more. They'll move less. You've got to move it or to lose it, really.
Yeah, 100% do. So anything that is going to increase your metabolism and increase your muscle burning potential is going to be a good thing. So looking for your quick fix is just not going to do it.
So taking it back to Gina's question, ultimately, when your reduced calories too low, you lose too much muscle mass. Therefore, long term, you won't need as many calories, and you risk putting on serious weight. Your metabolism is going to drop. If your calories go really low, you risk organ failure, etc. If you prolong that for any period of time.
You've got to think about the long term. Think about how you want to be in 20 years time or 30 years time, or just for the rest of your life. How do you want to be? Now, so many people still say, "Oh, I'm just going to go on this diet, I'm going to lose the weight and then I can go back to my normal eating." And it's like the worst thing you could possibly do. Think about that end goal. Think about how you want to be for the rest of your life. And in 30 years time, when somebody says, "Man, how did you get into some awesome shape?" You're not going to say, "Well, I had this 3-month period when I was in my 30s, and I just did this crazy diet that got me in really good shape, and I've just been like this ever since." Like, it's not going to happen. Start as you mean to go on. Start habits, start daily practices that you can continue for the rest of your life.
We'll move on. What was the second question we had? That was from... These are just the main questions. We did cover a lot of questions in the other stream.
I can't remember who asked it, but it was about what's the average weight loss you should aim for.
Right, yeah. I mean, this comes down to relevant to your starting body weight. We've got a nice figure that we like to lose, for long-term continued weight loss. Anything between 1 to 2 pounds a week is fantastic. But at the starting point, if you were a larger individual, maybe if you weighed over 300 pounds or thereabouts, you would be expecting to lose a lot more than that. But the most important thing is that you are going in the right direction.
I think somebody once said to me, your body wants to be perfect. Okay, and it's a really nice kind of way of looking at it. Your body wants to be perfect, and it's influences that you're giving your body that is preventing you from being perfect. And that's for Rab and I also. Our bodies want to be perfect, but you look at lifestyle factors. You look at maybe a few extra whiskies that we've maybe drunk, maybe we've not had enough sleep. There's all sorts of lifestyle factors hitting you from all different angles that stop your body from being perfect. If we can remove those, then your body will then respond and wants to be perfect. So like I said, if you've got somebody who is 300 pounds, okay, their body's going to respond a lot quicker to be perfect. Okay, so that's why they'll lose weight much quicker when you remove the things that are preventing them from doing so, i.e. inactivity and too much food.
I just saw one of the comments in the questions. We actually answered this previously, but we'll answer it again. They're talking about how do you get over a plateau.
Oh, okay. That was actually one of the other questions.
Oh, was it? Right, yeah.
Weeks ago as well.
I mean, ultimately, what you've got to look at when you hit a plateau, whatever you've been doing, you've been losing weight, it's been working, it's been great. You've hit that point where the weight loss has either stayed the same. Keep an eye on inches, because remember, if you're still shrinking but the weight's staying the same, that's still progress. Yeah. But then once you realise you're on a plateau, it's quite simple. You've got to change something.
Your body has this amazing ability to adapt to your environment. It's incredible, and it's always looking to save energy. It's every single living organism on this planet tries to save energy. It's the way we survive. Okay, energy is vital. So when you get into a new environment, your body will adapt to it. And this is what we rely on, okay? That's what we rely on in terms of your nutrition and with your fitness. If we're giving you a new environment, we want your body to change to it. But once it's changed, it's not going to continue to change if it's the same environment. You have to keep changing your environment and give it a reason to change again. So if you hit this plateau, like Rab said, first of all, establish if it's a real plateau. Do all your measurements and buy some skinfold calipers so you actually you pinch your fat. Get a tape measure around your waist, around your bum, around your thigh, around your arm, around your chest. Measure absolutely as much as you can, and only once you've established it's a real plateau, then make some changes.
And also look at it in a positive way, because we always like to promote positivity. And a plateau it shows that your body has become really bloody efficient at what you'd previously given it. And that's what it is. It's doing the workouts you were previously doing, your eating regime, etc. It's become really awesomely efficient at what you were previously doing. So set it a new challenge, mix it up, challenge it again, and it'll get efficient at that again. But that's what's awesome about the human body, right?
And this is why resistance training is a real firm favourite of ours. A lot of our programs are based on, okay, well, we're going to do some squats. Okay, and then after a couple of weeks, we say, okay, do you know what? We're going to change the squats to a wide leg squat or a narrow squat, and even something as simple as changing an angle of where your feet are, or maybe if you're doing bench press or something like that, it just makes all the difference. So you suddenly see development of your muscles again.
Starts
you get
to hurt again, right?
It starts to hurt again. As soon as you change something, you're like, wow. We've been doing this for fitness. PTs for 13 years. We've been doing fitness for over 20. And yet we can still give each other a workout that makes us hurt, and we're like, whoa, okay. And then all of a sudden over the next few days, you're like, you just feel leaner, you feel more energetic, you feel better because we've changed something. So change an angle, increase your weights or your reps, or even just keep the same angle, the same weight, the same reps, but then slow it down, okay, slower tempo or even faster tempo. There's so much you can change when it comes to your fitness.
And if it's cardio based, if you've been doing the kind of slow burn, mix up, do some HIIT training or some sprints.
Some hill sprints. Hill sprints. There's always something different you can do. So if you're on a plateau, chances are you've just been doing the same thing for too long. Change it up.
Mix it up. Hey, we'll have a look at some of these other questions coming in here. Let's just see. Everybody is different. Some need more than others. What they're talking about.
We've missed a bit of a conversation here.
What is the minimal calorific intake on a weight loss diet? And that's a fantastic question.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, some of these diets, they go for 800 calories or whatever, and I think that's seriously dangerous. Personally, if I was prescribing someone a diet plan, depending on their body weight, because this is a huge factor, but if it was the average sort of client that we get, what would they weigh? 13, 14 stone, give or take. I'd end up putting them on a diet of anywhere between 14 and 1600 calories a day. If they're a wee bit lighter, they'll get a wee bit less, but I think there was one person I put down at 1200 calories a day, so I tend to stay over the 1000 mark, unless they were already...
Yeah, see, I always say, like, you want to be... Think about it in a different way. Your food intake contains not just calories, but all your macronutrients, so your protein, fats and carbohydrates. It contains all your vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and everything that your body needs for you to live as long as humanly possible. So rather than saying what's the minimum you can go to, think about what's the maximum number of calories you could eat while still losing weight. So change it around a little bit. Say, okay, well, at the moment I'm not trying to gain or lose weight. I just want to see how much I can eat without gaining weight. Okay, and it's a really, really fun experiment.
How much I can get away with.
And that's exactly it. Rather than thinking, what's the minimum I should be going to, think of what's the maximum you can go to. Flip it around, because then you start to develop a metabolism. You really kind of get in, and if you want to eat more, you say, okay, well, I want to eat an extra meal per day. Okay, so that's an extra 500-600 calories. Okay, I want to eat that. Therefore, what do I have to do for that not to be stored as fat? Okay, so start to think about things in a more positive way rather than always. I mean, it's okay. Obviously, you do have to think about dropping the calories if you're eating too much, but think about the reverse of that. How much can you eat and still lose weight? Challenge.
What you can get away with.
Coach's challenge.
Let's just see any other ones. Any other questions? Is there a minimum which you can't go below for men and women? Yes, as I said earlier, about 600 or 700 calories. If you go below that regularly, you start to risk organ failure. So regardless, male or female, yeah, I would not go below that. Yeah, that would be seriously dangerous.
And somebody's saying there, not to go below their, it should be BMR, basal metabolic rate, or you're saying resting metabolic rate, which is pretty much the same thing. Absolutely, yeah. You can actually calculate your basal metabolic rate. Just Google it. You can find it online. Calculate your BMR, and don't go below that.
Holly's asking, can you drink too much tea? I can't, but I'm pretty sure Holly can. I suppose you've got to look at the caffeine element of it, etc. I suppose if it was coffee, you get more of a kick to the central nervous system. So if you drank too much coffee, the side effects are not ideal. Yeah. Tea doesn't seem to affect the central nervous system as badly. You don't tend to get the kind of buzz off it, but it is still quite high in caffeine. So yeah, I suppose you would still have to think about the caffeine levels there.
Brian's asking about motivation for exercise. He says, feel quite negative. Attempts over the years have failed. Any tips on changing that attitude? Brian, you probably need to be looking at your entire lifestyle. If you've been exercising, even if that exercise was absolutely perfect and really structured, progressive, a few things that we're actually going to go on to in a second, you still need to be looking at your diet. So you can never out-exercise a bad diet. If you're not eating the right things for your body, it doesn't matter what exercise you're doing, you might not see the physical changes in your body, although it's still beneficial. Okay, so there's actually he was a professor, I can't remember his name, and he did all these studies, and he got his whole team behind it, and he said that 99% of the benefits of exercise are invisible to you. Okay, so just because you can't see the physical benefits in your body does not mean that it's not benefiting you. Of course it is. You're still doing loads of work to the heart and lungs. Your blood cells, your blood vessels will just become more alive. You actually develop more blood vessels, so you've got more oxygen going to your working muscles and all to your organs. You know, all these little things you just don't see. You'll have increased bone density, you'll have stronger joints. You've got to think about all these things. Better brain function. Okay, you might not see all these little things when you look in the mirror. It does not mean exercise is not benefiting to you. So exercise regardless, but if you want to see those changes in your body, then you need to change a few more things, which we will move on to.
Yep, we'll move on to now. So what we're going to do is we've got some slides we're going to chat over the top of. Again, this episode's getting saved anyway, so if you ever want to come back to it, it'll be recorded and saved on our site if you want to look over it again.
Just because you're not seeing our faces, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, don't miss us. We'll have to then wait for it to update here. There's always a lag, isn't there? Yeah. Always a lag.
So this was a Lean 5 webinar we did a while ago, and basically we're going to take you through 5 steps to control your body, so that you can lose as much weight as you like while maintaining your health and happiness, which is obviously our main key ingredient.
But that was a long time ago we did this, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Oh, and we're going to give you a little gift. Actually, we totally forgot about this gift.
The gift that keeps on giving. Because there was a lot of slides for this one, wasn't there?
It was. But it's worth it. It is worth it. So this all comes back to the equation. If you want to see results, it's a very, very simple equation. A plus S plus D equals R. So we start with the ability. This is really, really important. Everyone has the ability. Now, people get demotivated and stop trying because they don't believe they have the ability to lose weight. Okay, you still hear it all the time. People saying, "Oh, I would love to, but," and they've got an excuse. It's that but. Okay, I'd love to, but I've got kids now, or I just don't have the time. I've run my business. I'm too tired. Oh, I'm in a wheelchair, or there's always a but. Okay. You have the ability to lose weight. Okay, so this is just like a given. Everyone watching this right now has the ability to lose weight. As soon as you understand that, you're then slightly more motivated to give this a try. Next up, we need a strategy.
Need a plan put in place together, right?
Somebody once said, it's not it's not what the strategy is, it's the fact that you have one. Okay, that's the most important thing here. Have a strategy moving forward. Now, we're going to give you a bit of a strategy, but the best results come from people who are being consistent with a plan. It doesn't matter what type of plan it is, just have a plan and stick to it. Stick to the damn plan.
We've not said that for a while, have we? Next one up is desire. You've got to want the results you're looking for. You've got to really you need desire for it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think they want it, but they're not willing to go ahead and make the changes to achieve that. So, yeah, make sure that you want it bad enough.
If you think about that little algorithm to start with, you think, okay, well, the ability, I've already told you, you have the ability to lose as much weight as you want to lose. Plain and simple. There's no ifs, no buts. So you've got the ability. Well, a strategy, there's plenty of strategies online. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there already with a strategy. We're going to give you another strategy. But does that mean that every single one of you are going to lose loads and loads of weight? No, because some of you will have the desire to do so and do anything that it takes, and some of you, sadly, will not.
So when you add together ability, strategy plus a desire, you will then get results, which is what we're aiming for, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. So we've got some stages here, 5 stages, which we like to work through. So it was 5 steps to weight loss success. So step 1 is choose goals from dream goal to daily habits.
Okay, so this really comes down to think about your absolute dream goal, because so many people don't. They're like, oh, in an ideal world, and almost push it off like it's like an embarrassment. Oh, in an ideal world, I'd like to be that, but I'm just going to do this. No. Get that and bring it over here. What is your ideal goal? Okay, don't think about, I just want to lose 10 pounds. Think about what is the absolute dream goal, and then you just break that down into a yearly goal. Okay, if it's going to take you more than a year, bring it down to yearly goals. Okay, 6 monthly goals. Break it down into weekly goals, and eventually you think, okay, well, if I need to achieve this every single week or month, then what are the daily habits that have to be in place for me to do that?
Okay, step 2, you need to get a solid exercise program that is regular, intense and progressive, which is our 3 main principles for any exercise. Okay, so it needs to be regular, whether it's 3, 4, 5 times a week, whatever it is you can fit into your schedule. Okay, it needs to be intense. You have to work hard. If you do not work hard, you're not going to get the results. And it also needs to be progressive. So this is, like we mentioned earlier when we were talking about plateaus. Once you hit a plateau, it's time to change things and continue to be progressive. If you never progress your workouts, you'll be constant at a plateau, and results will just be absolutely flat.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So then, if you got step 1 and step 2, step 3, then we're moving into structuring your diet for long-term goals. So again, this is what we talked about at the start. Do not structure your diet for short-term success, which so many people do. They look for the little wins, okay, just to make them feel a little bit happier, stepping on the scales every day, and then getting upset if they don't get that result. Structure your diet so that you can maintain your results for the rest of your life. Okay, and again, we'll go through some of the basics of that today.
Step 4 is the success cycle. We used to have a slide for this, didn't we?
Yeah, we used to have a little silly saying too. Consistency,
monitor, adapt. Yeah. So yeah, basically, consistency.
Just be consistent with exactly what you're doing.
Monitor your progress.
Okay. Ask yourself the question: am I achieving the results that I want to achieve? And if the answer is yes, then great. Keep being consistent with what you're doing.
If it's not,
then you have to adapt.
You have to change it. Okay, and then step 5 is accountability. Now this is where your group peers work quite well. That's just why weight loss clubs work well, because they go each week, they weigh in, and people can share in other people's successes. And then even when people are down one week, everybody else builds them up. No, next week we'll go for it, and then galvanise them, motivate them, and push them on.
Yeah.
So, but it's that accountability. It's knowing you're getting weighed in every week in some shape or form.
You've heard of peer pressure. Peer pressure is often said to be a negative. Okay, oh, peer pressure, you did that bad thing because of peer pressure. But peer pressure can be an amazing thing at the same time. We are community-driven species. Okay, we are one of the most dominant species on the planet because of that community spirit. Okay, we all come together. You think about tribes and clans. That's how the human race evolved, and it paid for us to be hardwired to be accepted. Okay, so if you do something different, if you're doing something different from the rest of everybody else, then you're a bit of an outcast. You'll be pushed out of society, and then that's when you're likely starve because you don't know how to hunt. Okay, somebody might be the hunter of the tribe, and you might just be the cleaner of the food. Okay, you might be the dishwasher, you might be the hut builder, you might be whatever it might be. Okay, so if you push out the community, you then don't have somebody to hunt for you, or maybe you are the hunter but you don't have somebody to build a hut for you. You know, there's so many different things. So anyway, those genes would then die off, but the people with the community spirit would stay on. So we're hardwired to fit in. So when it comes to being in a group, it's very, very beneficial to be around the same people that are on the same journey as you. People who are trying to lose weight, people who are trying to be fit and healthy, rather than you saying, right, I'm going to be really good, and then everybody around you are eating pizzas and donuts, not going to the gym, offering you alcohol every turn of the way. It's not a positive environment to be in for you getting results. So
accountability is just virtually saying out loud and owning what it is you're trying to do, and surround yourself with positive, like-minded people that will call you out if you're no longer doing or working towards.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's that whole thing. It's aren't you on your diet, or aren't you meant to be on your diet? And then the person's like, oh right, okay, you know.
And it's funny, we don't want to make this a big salesy kind of video. It's not about that. But we've got to think about our clan and our lean formula at the moment, and we might go into a bit more of that later on. But our clan straight away is amazing because of the community spirit, but our lean formula even more so because of this community. People are saying, oh, what do you think about the next lesson? You know, we're giving these nutrition lessons every step of the way, and this clan, the lean formula members are saying, okay, and they're just chatting amongst each other.
Or it's, have you tried the workout yet? And right away someone that hasn't tried the workout is like, shit, I better try this workout.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, really great for that accountability factor.
So get a solid direction of what you are doing and where you are going.
So health and fitness is a way of life and not just a means to a particular result. Like I said, 99% of the benefits of exercise are invisible. So however, setting some goals can be very motivating, and when done right can inspire huge change. So let's start thinking about your dream goals.
Yeah, so when we talk about goals, we look at this sort of SMART principle. You get the smarter as well, but ultimately it's just an expansion of the same one. Okay, so specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed.
So when it comes to these little goals, most people say, oh, I want to lose some weight. I just want to lose some weight. And that's like me saying, well, I want to be richer. And then you give me, you know, $1 and say, congratulations, you've achieved your goal. And you're like, that's not really what I was talking about. You know, put a definite target on what your goal is, okay? It has to be so specific that there's no question whether you've achieved it or not.
Yeah. And it needs to be measurable as well. Okay, so whatever your goal is, like you're saying there, like if the goal was to be $10 richer, well then once you've hit $10, that's quite measurable, right?
Yeah.
If your bank balance is at $10 or £10 over here, richer, happy days. You've hit that target. It's attainable. If it was a weight loss goal, it needs to be at a specific figure, or if you're dropping sizes or whatever, you know, put a number on it.
You have to put a number on it. Otherwise, it's black and white then. It's black and white. Have you achieved it or you haven't achieved it? Yeah. And this is when it comes to failure, there's no such thing as failure in this. There's just a slightly longer time frame, which we'll come on to in a second. But just because you may have failed that specific target, it just means, okay, well, I'll reevaluate and I'll go again. You know, you just keep working at it. Which basically comes to the next point, as it needs to be achievable. There's no point in saying, you know, I want to lose, you know, 10 stone if you only weigh 9.5 stone in the first place.
Yeah.
But you know, you get my point. Set an achievable target that you know you can hit. I did a little post somewhere else recently about setting goals, and I was saying, you know, too many people, all you're thinking about is you know, creating these huge changes. Because really, you just say, do you know what? I'm going to set this goal here. I'm going to get it. I'm going to move forward, and then you achieve it. Because as soon as it's achieved, an achieved goal can be so motivating for setting more.
And next one needs to be relevant as well. Needs to be relevant to you personally. I mean, there's no point having a goal if it just doesn't apply to you at all. You're having a weight loss goal because everyone around you is losing weight, but you don't actually need to lose weight. Maybe what you need to do is to build up a core or become stronger in different areas, but for some reason everyone around you has thought, well, you need to drop so many pounds. You just assume that getting fit means losing weight. That's not always the case. So you've got to make sure that your goal is relevant to you.
And then the last one is timed. Okay, just put a time frame on it. And like I said before, even if you don't quite manage it, as long as you've got that date to say, right, well, how close was I? Did I achieve it or did I not? Okay, so you don't say, oh, by the end of March, okay, it's 3 months' time. By the end of March, I am going to be this. Okay, make sure you've got an absolute good, solid figure on it. I'm going to be this by the end of March. And then the end of March comes, you say, right, am I that or not? If you are, great. Goal achieved, let's move on to the next goal. If you're not, you can reevaluate. You can say, right, well, how close did I get? Could I have done anything different? Did I just misjudge where I was to begin with, and it took me a little bit longer than I anticipated? You know, you can reevaluate all these little things, say, right, well, and my calculations are going to take me an extra month to get there. Great. That's never a failure.
No.
That's just part of the journey.
Part of the journey. It's not the journey, it's the destination. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next chart we've got up here as structure your nutrition for long-term goals. Okay.
So there's 4 quarters to this. Obviously, your diet will be a lot more in depth than this. Okay, but generally speaking, we say if you have got adequate protein, adequate hydration, adequate calorie cycling. Okay, we'll get onto that in a second, and then healthy fats, you will be able to achieve most of the results that you are setting out to achieve.
So these are fundamental for weight loss. Generally, you know, increasing your protein is usually a go-to. You need to have a certain level of protein which is relevant to you for weight loss.
Yep.
Hydration is, I would say, twice as important almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many functions in the body that are specific for the energy processes, a lot of them switch off if you're not relevantly hydrated enough. So increasing hydration is always going to benefit your weight loss.
Just a quick one on that as well. They say that as little as 2% dehydration will make you more fatigued and slow down your brain function. If you've got slowed brain function and you're fatigued, think about how your motivation is going to be just to get up and go to the gym, to have, you know, a healthy lunch. If you're more fatigued, you are going to make bad choices. So moving on, so let's go to healthy fats first before we go to calorie cycling. So healthy fats, fat is often given a bad name in the media, but it is very vital, very important for your fat burning process. If your body has got adequate fat coming in, okay, now understanding that you can't have too much because fat is very calorie dense, but you need to balance out your fat intake through your saturated fat. It is not bad for you, okay, saturated fat is a vital part of your diet. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, okay, you actually need about a third of each. Saturated fat gets a bad name because people don't eat enough polys and monos. Okay, if you increase those two, decrease your saturated fat slightly, then you have a very good balance of fats.
So calorie cycling, so this is all the rage now when you get things like fasting and carbing up and all that kind of so on and so forth. It is quite important to sort of calorie cycle, okay, just to mix things up in the body, because if you stay along the same level of calories constantly every single day, again, as we mentioned earlier, your body will become efficient with that, it'll become used to that. It's really important to mix things up and change it to keep the stimulus going forwards.
So what we're looking at here is you've got a set metabolism. Okay, everyone's got metabolism watching this right now. You've got metabolism. Now, the conventional way to lose weight is to just drop your calories. Boom. So as soon as you've got your calories less than your metabolism, you've got this zone here that you'll lose weight from, and everyone's happy. However, what your body does, like I said, is very efficient at adapting to your environment. So if your calories are here and your metabolism's here, your metabolism is going to slowly dip down and equal out, and that's when you hit this plateau. So calorie cycling allows you to maintain metabolism and then get this calorie deficit, so drop your calories down enough to achieve the weight loss, but then bring them back up again so that your metabolism stays high.
So basically addressing protein, your hydration, your healthy fats, and calorie cycling is your first go-tos basically for any successful weight loss plan.
Yeah.
Or any plan you're currently on, have a look at it and see if your plan's already been mapped out for you, these will have been taken into account. Just try and see what angle that the person that set it for you has gone with, basically. So coming on to protein, it's the building block of life. 30% calories burned straight away, increased metabolism, increased lean muscle, increased vegetable to assure alkalinity.
So two main points of that one I would say is, just to clarify, the 30% calories burned straight away. That is basically your body, protein is hard to digest for your body. It takes a little bit more energy. So 30% of the calories you get from protein will be burned just to process the protein you've just eaten. Okay, and that again is why it makes you feel full. The calories that then are processed and stored in the body are then converted into muscle as long as you're doing the right training. But then 30% of them don't even make it into the body because they have to be burned. So protein is this like magical thing that everybody forgets about when they're trying to lose weight.
I think the magic one used to be egg whites. Previously, they thought that the calorie value of egg whites was, well, it's fairly low anyway. But I remember the old information was that virtually there were nothing, because the calories that you got out of them, or to break it down, was the same. There's a slight plus now they've found, but it's not far wrong. The calories it takes to break it down.
As long as you're doing the training, it's going to go to your muscles anyway. Yeah. So they're all good. The other one I wanted to highlight actually on protein was the alkalinity.
Yeah.
So basically, when you're having protein, like I said, is quite magical. But unfortunately, too many people eat too much protein. Okay, and when I say too much protein, I just mean that it's not balanced with the rest of your macronutrients. Mm-hmm. So it's quite difficult to eat too much protein. But
definitely possible.
It is possible, but it's more so the balance of the nutrients. People they think protein is so magical that all they have is protein, but actually having too much protein is going to make your internal environment quite acidic, because it takes an acid to process the protein in the first place. Too much of it is just going to make your body very acidic. Ends up being very gassy out the back end, and it's just not a nice environment.
You get reflux, your breath can smell. Yeah. If you're pretty much following low and only protein, that's the kind of what you can expect.
Yeah. So what we say is make sure that you're increasing your vegetable content just to increase the alkalinity of your body. Stops the gas, stops the acid reflux, and it makes everyone around you much happier.
Don't get stuck in a lift with a couple of people on high protein diets, right?
So next is hydration. Like I said, this is as important, probably more important than the protein.
Yeah. You may have heard that you have to drink more water, but do you know why?
Water is vital for the efficiency of fat burning systems.
The more hydrated you are, the more dehydrated you are, the less effective you are at burning fat.
And optimum hydration will boost energy levels and reduce fatigue, so that you naturally want to do more throughout the day. So everything that we mentioned before, basically our muscles are what burns fat. Okay, if you want to burn fat, you have to have muscle, and the more efficient that muscle is, the more fat you are going to burn. For your muscles to be efficient, they need to have signals from the central nervous system coming out through the nerves and into the muscles to tell them to work, and that signal needs water and electrolytes to pass through. If you do not have enough water and electrolytes, those signals will be impaired, you'll move less, you'll be less efficient at burning fat. Plain and simple.
It's amazing because the amount of times you've either heard it somewhere, drink more water to lose weight, and everyone just palms it off like, yeah, it's only water, how can it be that great? Yeah. And then they still don't do it, so then they never experience the power of it. It's
one of the most common things I get from people. I actually had somebody today for personal training, and you ask them about their diet, and they'll say, I'm doing everything I can for this, this and this. I'm like, great, how much water do you drink every day? And they're like, I'm not very good at drinking water. I know I should be drinking at least 2 litres of water per day, but I maybe have like a glass or two. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like you're doing everything possible to me.
Yeah.
But it's something that people just don't take seriously enough. You just don't take it. If the doctor said to you, take this pill every single day and you'll lose weight, you'll go, all right, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
We're saying to you, drink more water, you will lose weight. If you change nothing else, you will lose weight. If you're dehydrated, that will help. It is that important. It's going to make you more energetic, more alert, more focused.
And yet, people still
don't do it.
Okay, calorie cycling. So we mentioned this earlier when we talked about fasting, mixing things up. So you want to look at weekly calories, not daily.
That's when I was talking about metabolism and dropping calories down. You can do it for a couple of days. So you want to be getting a calorie deficit while still maintaining calories. Okay, and that's what calorie cycling does.
You want to allow for a bit of flexibility for a few luxuries. So like we like our sort of work hard through the week and take either a Saturday or a Sunday off. So you've got to live life.
Yep. And so carb cycling is probably one of the most popular. You could say something like, okay, well, people try and naturally cut back on the carbohydrates. Carbs can be very, very good at maintaining your metabolism. So I would never recommend cutting it completely unless your body type will allow that. But by carb cycling, you can get the benefits of low carb while maintaining metabolism, and that just basically means you're dropping your carbs down for certain periods throughout the week and increasing for others.
So the way I used to do it, I used to go low, 3 days of low calorie, medium on day 4, and then I used to carb up on day 5. And for me, my low carb was about 100 grams of carbs a day. Medium was about 150. When I carved up, we're talking 300 to 400 grams of carbs. That was for my body weight, and it worked for me. Messing around with that, cycling it, and just mixing things up. There's different ways of doing it. Some people just go low, medium, high, or they go completely low and then carb up.
Yeah, some people like to go low throughout the whole week, and then on a Saturday or a Sunday they just go carb crazy. There's lots of different ways of doing it. And next up is just your healthy fats. So when it comes to healthy fats, it is really, really important to make sure you've got the balance. So good fats in will allow your body to burn some of the bad ones.
Good balance of the saturated mono and polyunsaturated fats.
And then cholesterol is unjustified bad name.
Yes.
Cholesterol, again, is as vital as saturated fat. They've both got a really bad name. You could argue one and the same thing, but both are very, very important. Okay, saturated fat makes up your cell membranes, or sorry, should I say your cell membrane is made up of fat, and it's the balance of saturated fat and monounsaturated fats, or poly, that make up that cell membrane. If you have too much saturated, cell membrane becomes very solid. If you don't have enough, it becomes too fluid-like, and you lose the structure of each of your cells. Okay, it's important as your unsaturated fats.
And I've got a story there. I mean, I remember years ago I used to take my dieting so seriously when I was trying to trim down. I was like, no fat at all. This was before the knowledge on fats was really there, or certainly widespread. And I cut out fat completely. So I was protein, vegetables, cycling my carbs. But because of that, what happened was, as Stephen was describing, it's in part of the membrane, makes up cell wall. So places like your teeth and your nose, where it's very, very thin anyway, I started getting bad nosebleeds. And I couldn't understand it for the life of me. And when I was brushing my teeth and my gums were bleeding, my uncle was a dentist. He said, well, you don't have you don't have gum disease. I don't understand what's happening. Went to the doctors about it. They were like, well, cauterize your nose. That didn't really do the job. And it wasn't until I looked into research and really started looking through things, I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to start getting good fats in there. Fixed it instantly.
There you go.
So you really need your good fats in there for the cell membrane. It's all in the membrane.
Insane in the membrane.
That's right, yeah. Insane in the brain.
Okay, so this is how you want to be structuring your exercise. Now again, we've got set programs that are available. The main thing, you think about your own training right now, you ask yourself, is my training regular? We're talking 3, 4, 5 times per week, and no more than 2 full days in between resistance training. That's really, really important.
You need to make sure that your workout routine, whatever it is, whether it's cardio or resistance, it needs to be intense. You need to raise the heart rate. You need to be working. If you ask yourself the question, am I working 7 or 8 out of 10? That'll be fairly intense. If you're just trotting along, unless you were deliberately trying a fat burning session or a low burn, but ultimately, unless you're working 7 or 8 out of 10 when pushing it, it's not going to be intense enough.
Yeah. And then the last but not least is progressive. And to be honest, it's almost like buy 2 get 1 free. If your training is regular and if it's intense, it almost has to be progressive to keep being intense. Okay, so just look to say, am I progressing each not necessarily each session, but certainly each week, each month, look back to say, right, what was I doing this time last month? Am I doing more? Have I achieved something? Am I fitter? Am I stronger? Am I faster? Always make sure that you're progressing your training.
Oh, we do have the slide. Yay! Got the success cycle. Consistency, monitor, adapt.
Okay, it just keeps going round and round and round.
So no matter what journey you're on at the moment, whatever it is you're following, stick to this basic principle. Okay, are you being consistent?
Be consistent with what you are doing. Too many people try so many different things and stick to it for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then give up and then try something different. Be consistent with as much as you possibly can. Then all you have to do is monitor your progress. You monitor the results that you're trying to achieve and ask yourself the question, am I achieving the results I'm looking for? Answer is yes, then great. You keep being consistent with what you're doing. If the answer is no, then you adapt. You've
got to mix it up. So consistency, monitor, or adapt. I can't say that how we did put that word in. Was that the way we said it in the...
Yeah, adapt.
Adapt, yeah. Okay, the last slide we've got here is all about accountability. Make your goals known, basically.
Get it on all your social media. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anything, tell people what you are going to achieve over the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever it might be. Or even just telling your friends and family. Make people aware of what you're trying to do. Maybe you're having like a weekly meet. This is what we recommend, this is what we do through our lean formula.
Yep.
We'll have a weekly meet so that we know that people are sticking to what we are teaching them. You could join a group.
Which might tie in with a weekly meet.
Yep. You could even just have an agreement with a friend. Obviously hire a trainer, coach, which is where we come in. Or even just commit financially. Now, that's a real clever one. Obviously there's lots of options out there. Even something as simple as buy yourself a new pair of trainers or a new running top or just some new gym gloves or buy something that you're financially committed. Okay, obviously we can then say, well, come join our lean formula, okay, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can actually just buy something, join your gym, okay, financially commit to something, because this is how unfortunately the world works around money. Okay, as soon as you're committed financially, you're like, I'm going to do this.
Or those Fitbits you get, you know, the minute you...
Of course, yeah.
They're not exactly cheap, or some of them, they're cheaper now, but if you've committed financially to it, you're like, I better use this, I better get my money's worth, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's the end of the slides anyway.
Yeah.
We will be staying on to answer more questions. If you've got any, please fire away. We're going to talk to you about our lean formula anyway. It's launching in
12 days?
A week on Monday.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it's not quite 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks Monday past. We're going to launch the lean formula. There's 2 options. The first main option is open to 10 people, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's 10 spaces. Once they're gone, they are gone.
And that was the method that we originally used for the first couple of groups, which was great, which has our one-to-one contact with a weekly call.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good.
On a very selfish note, we loved it. It's just like we were able to connect with more of you guys. The people who joined the programs were just amazing. We had a good old laugh with them each week. So it's a video call, and sometimes we'll sit with a whiskey, sometimes we'll just sit and have a blether, and we'll just keep you accountable. We'll make sure that you're getting the lessons okay, and we'll have a bit of banter. You know, we did form some really good friendships over that time, but that's the main structure of this program. So you get everything via the app. We're looking at there's basically 12 weeks worth of exercise. So there's a different program each week. There is 12 different nutrition lessons, and there's 12 mindset principles to keep everyone motivated. And it's just that accountability with us on each week that keeps everything going and moving forward nicely. It
was interesting with some of the testimonials. Everybody enjoyed different elements of the course. I think Liz, she was one of our testimonials. You see her picture there on the website. She really enjoyed the mindset lessons, didn't she? She found them really, really useful.
That was one of the major things for her, just to kind of keep her on track, because Liz had a few problems. If you remember, she was ill actually for a little period of it as well. But actually, when she couldn't train, she basically didn't have the energy to train. She couldn't train, and her diet was really restricted, again due to a few problems which we won't go into. But the one thing, she just kept watching the mindset lessons. She's like, it's just keeping me on the straight
You
and
couldn't
narrow.
say she wasn't motivated, that's for
It
sure.
was great, and she got these fantastic results from it. So there is something for absolutely everybody.
And everybody found the nutrition fairly easy to follow. And the great thing about the 12-week nutrition plan is that you've got it for life now.
Yeah.
You know, those are life lessons that every now and again we get an email ping from previously members, and they're still following their water intake, following all the principles that we gave them, which is
basically everything that we've just gone through in that presentation. Is what we teach in the Lean Formula. We're looking for you to adopt principles that will last for the rest of your life. Okay, it is a 12-week program, but that doesn't mean that you only get results for 12 weeks. Okay, the idea is we educate you over those 12 weeks so that you can then take those lessons, and we want to be hearing from people in 12 years to say, I'm still following those principles and I look and feel incredible. So that's what we're looking for. There is another option. To get all the same lessons, all the same exercise, nutrition and mindset principles, but just without our time. We can literally only take 10 people, but we can make the course available to, I reckon, 30 to 40 other people, should you wish, if we get the numbers that big. But we can make that available, but just without our time. Okay, we can't chat to everybody, unfortunately. But if you want it, it's going to be a much less expensive product. Okay, it's a lot more affordable, but it's still all the same lessons. You'll still be put into a group on Google Plus so that everyone can chat,
and we moderate those groups and come in and answer questions. So the groups are fantastic. All chat amongst motivate each other, and we can come in and answer any questions if you've got any pickles.
So yeah, that's the two options. If you are at all interested in that, please go to our website. The link is on the screen below. But just in case you can't see that or you can't type it out, go to thekiltedcoaches.com, onto the menu, click on Lean Formula, it's all there.
Fairly straightforward, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just look at some comments now.
Comments and
sure. We'll just answer some of your questions. If anyone's got any questions now, this is a weight loss special. Please don't ask us anything about Scotland, about bare bums, about Loch Ness Monster, none of that. Ask us questions about weight loss, please, and we will answer you.
Stephen Perry, this is a good question. So Stephen Perry asks further up, what about fibre? It is necessary for good sugar metabolism. Yeah, so we always promote high fibre. It's also very good for binding to fat when excreting from the body. So
the more obviously you've got soluble fibre and insoluble fibre. Both are really important for different reasons. But yes, you want to be looking at your fibre intake. It's one of the lessons actually on Lean Formula is getting the fibre intake up. Just about basically you want to be increasing your vegetables and sort of whole grains and things like that.
Now Richard Dryder asks, can you eat veggies and meat at the same time? Of course
you can. Depends how big your mouth is.
Meat and two veg at the same time. No, absolutely. I know there's certain, I can't remember what diet was out there and it had you eating certain foods in certain ways.
I'm pretty sure there's the Hayes diet. I don't know if that's the one you're thinking about.
Maybe.
But he had like, you could only eat alkaline forming foods in one sitting and then acid forming foods in another one. So it's basically fruit, because fruit is alkaline in the short term, but acid in the short term, but alkaline overall.
That's right, yeah.
So that could go with meat because that was acid. But then your vegetables and your grains and stuff would be alkaline, so they go, and it was just completely crazy.
So don't worry about it. Yes, you can have your meat and veggies.
100%.
It's funny you were saying that about fruit being acid in the short term, because sometimes when you have to alkalize somebody's diet, you talk about foods like avocado and all sorts of greens, but actually hot lemon.
Oh really?
You automatically think it's acidic, but it's not. It's because it's acidic initially, and then when you heat it in hot water, you have a hot lemon drink. And then it's really great for alkalizing. It's interesting that one. Let's see if
Caroline, do your coaches recommend one macro calculator over another? Results that vary quite a bit, and I want to make sure doing the right deficit to lose fat without messing with my metabolism. So Caroline, it depends on how much experience you have with your calorie intake. It's actually something, I know we've talked about it tonight, but we don't actually recommend counting calories on our Lean Formula. We don't calculate calories whatsoever. We build up the diet looking at what is missing from the diet, and we just build things up. We just increase, and what I was saying before is you should be looking to see how much you can eat without gaining weight. You could, I mean, a calorie calculator is one thing. You could use it, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Just use one method. See how you get on, monitor your weight, monitor your inches, monitor your energy levels and how well you're sleeping, and then just see how much you can eat without gaining weight initially, because you may be surprised at, and I'm not talking about pizzas and donuts and whatnot, I'm talking about, you know, more lean protein, more vegetables, you know, just start increasing, and at that point when you start to gain weight, then you know you're at your maximum metabolism calories.
Because that's the thing, whenever we talk about counting calories, I used to say to people, but are you doing the exact same activity every single day? You're a robot. You get up and you're in the same level of stress every morning, go from A to B, take the same number of steps, etc. Yeah. Nothing gets in your way. You know, is everything identical? Because if you were an absolute robot like that and everything was identical, then calorie counting would be for you.
Yeah.
The chances are a lot of us are not in identical mode. So what's the point in counting calories if you're not also counting activity? Exactly.
People say you are what you eat, but that's not true. 100% not true. You are what you eat, digest and absorb. Okay, and now that changes absolutely everything, because say you've got a slight you've got IBS, okay, irritable bowel syndrome, and your body is slightly sensitive to wheat. Okay, let's say use that as an example. Okay, if you're slightly sensitive to wheat and you eat wheat along with something else, your body might put up a barrier through your gut. Okay, that's what IBS is. Okay, it's an inflammation to stop nutrients passing into the gut. So therefore you're then lacking in nutrients, and that's why then other health problems come from IBS. So if you've got something like this, it then stops calories as well going into your system. So then all of a sudden you're not digesting and absorbing as much as what you were before. So then this completely changes everything. And like Rab says, when you wake up in the morning, you've got a certain level of stress that's allowing you to burn a certain amount of calories. If you've not slept as well, or if you're maybe slightly dehydrated from the night before, or there's so many different variables that counting calories is insane.
Insane in the membrane. That's twice we've done that. Gina's asked a really good question. Someone else asked if oatmeal daily would be good for increasing fibre. If you're cutting out carbs, is a little oatmeal good? Depends on what your plan. I mean, I don't like to cut carbs out completely, but if that's your thing, then oatmeal is carbs. It depends how low you're going to go with carbs, but ultimately, if you were going low carb, then I would definitely try and get your oatmeal in there if you can, and your vegetables.
Yeah, pick and choose your sources of carbohydrates. Whatever you're having, make sure they're sensible choices.
Yeah,
you know,
make sure they're the highest ones in fibre. Really, but
yeah,
oatmeal is quite high.
I've seen people who are on low carb diets, but then choosing, you know, white bread or bagels as their carb source. And they're like, no, but I'm allowed this much carbs. I'm like, yeah, you are. But wouldn't you rather have some potatoes with loads of fibre, or some oats with lots of fibre in them and lots more vitamins and minerals, phytochemicals? Wouldn't you rather have? So you're looking for, how can I get more bang for my buck?
More bang for, we're full of them today, aren't we? More, what was the one you said earlier? Education presentation. Yes. Miss Molly B is saying she goes for the plate method, half the plate fruits and veggies, the other half split between lean protein and starch.
So what we said before, it doesn't, to start with, if you got like a million people from the world, and you say, right, well, this 500,000 people are kind of just eating healthily, this, that and other, and these people have got systems, they've got kind of strategies in place. Doesn't matter the type of strategies, this lot here will do better than this lot here. Okay, if you have a strategy, doesn't matter what the strategy is, if you have a strategy, just go with it, monitor your progress. If you're getting the results, good on you. Keep going. So Miss
Molly B, if you're consistently doing that, monitoring your progress, if you're getting results, great. If you're not, adapt.
If you're looking credible, good on you.
Happy days.
If you don't, let's keep changing up. Any more questions, guys?
Before we wrap this up, any more weight loss specific? Right there.
No more questions coming up so far. Right, we'll wrap it up.
Right, guys, so again, if you are interested in our lean formula, you can go to our website and click on lean formula program.
Yeah,
it's fairly straightforward.
Easy enough.
If not, you can re-watch this. This will remain on our channel, and whatever program you're following at the moment, you can take some of these principles and just have a look at how your current program is adopting them, and just have a look at them, just make yourself aware of it, and just keep kind of playing over. I mean, it'll be a good motivational one if you're ever struggling. So
definitely take some notes and take action. That's the main thing here. Too many people watch YouTube videos and do nothing about it. If you are going to be a different person this time next year, you have to take action. There can be no other way.
And as we always say, it's all really important to make a plan.
And then when you make that plan,
you stick to the damn plan.